Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gashi's Kama TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. Yesterday, I greeted a man and he responded one term. He's called James. I told him, "Hi, James." He responded one term. I looked like I did not hear what he said. And he repeated one term. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at Kenyans today, they strongly believe that William Samoei Ruto will be a one-term president. They strongly believe that there is no way William Samoei Ruto can win the second term. But I want us to focus on one area that has left Kenyans baffled, that has actually disappointed this nation. I want us to look at the education sector. If you look at the dailies today, they are talking about the collapse of University of Nairobi. They are talking about the collapse of the higher education. And when our news are being broadcasted to us, one item is cutting across the collapse of universities. Ladies and gentlemen, I think one of the papers, I'm not sure whether it is the Daily Nation or the Standard, today's headline is about the University of Nairobi coming down, collapsing literally, ladies and gentlemen. This is coming at a time when, again, more university also collapsed. It's coming at a time when Egerton University is on its knees. It is coming at a time when Kenyatta University is struggling. Ladies and gentlemen, what is happening to our universities? What went wrong? In this video, I want us to take a critical look on what went wrong in our universities. And I'll start by asking you one question. Do you support the new university funding model where parents pay a lot of money? Remember, education is supposed to be free in Kenya. But now, when you look at the funding model, many students are admitted to various university courses, but they are declining. In fact, I think the universities will be very lucky if the COOPS is going to admit all the students who qualified to join universities. Many of them are declining. Others preferring to go to technical institutions, that is TVETs. They are actually declining university education because many parents cannot afford this. Because you realize some trainees who are actually very poor, comes from a very poor background, they are taken, I think, to band one, where a parent is supposed to pay thousands and hundreds of thousands of money. They cannot afford. Therefore, if they cannot afford, it means that they are not going to join universities. And because one of the major sources of universities' income is school fees, or whatever you may call it, university fees, the actual reality is that they are going to collapse. When I hear University of Nairobi collapsing, something inside me touches me. I feel like even calling a harabe for all those who went to University of Nairobi to try and bail out this great university. You cannot tell me, I think the eighth best university in Africa is on its knees. You cannot tell me, I think something university as far as ranking is concerned is actually on its knees. Number two is because of corruption and looting. The corruption and looting that has been taking place in our institutions is actually worrying. It is not only the education sectors that are collapsing. Everything is literally collapsing. Everything is literally on its knees. That is why you see even the sugar factories being sold. That is why you see state corporations being sold. Because what is happening is just making deals. The officers, these guys who are in office, they're just making deals with other guys who want to bail out. And by the way, it could be a way, this collapsing of universities could be a way of creating a situation where a private sector would come and the university will be sold or the private institution to the private institutions, like it is happening in the said sugar factories. There is also the issue of competences. Incompetence is the other name of Kenya Kwanza. These guys give us the wheelbarrow. Surely, The symbol of wheelbarrow. What do you think when the country, when the symbol of the ruling party is wheelbarrow, by the way? What does this tell you? When you look at our country, you realize that all the way from the head to the toe, everybody is incompetent. I cannot see somebody like Makoha. I cannot see the former CS, George Makoha, and may God rest his soul in eternal peace. I cannot see somebody like Fred Matiang'i. This is what is required. Somebody who is going to show competence. Somebody who is going to provide direction. So William Samoei Ruto has been appointing CSs who are not competent, PSs who are not competent. Again, when you look at these institutions, some of them are led by people who are not competent. There is also a lack of clear guidance, lack of clear agenda as far as education is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not actually happening just at the university. I think it is everywhere. There is also the issue of politicizing our institutions. Siasa zimeingia katika taasisi zetu za elimu. You remember the Eldoret, Moi University. You remember the Moi University. When the Kalenjin guys rioted, went to university, and they were forcing the government that the head of the institution, that is the vice chancellor, must come from the Kalenjin nation. This is what we are calling politicization. Today, after that happened, we were told that the university literally collapsed. And today, Moi University is a pale shadow of its good self. Because what happened? These guys came and started employing people from their communities. So they brought a lot of tribalism. And an institution that had the face of Kenya actually became a local institution. It started being managed like a village polytechnic. And there is also poor remuneration of the lecturers, poor remuneration of the workers. They are demotivated. There's nothing that actually motivates them to work. Their salaries are delayed. So others has resigned. Others have gone to the grave with universities not paying these salaries. So what do you expect, ladies and gentlemen? You expect a demotivated workforce. You expect the institution to collapse. The systems are collapsing. And when you don't remunerate the workers properly, I can tell you that the productivity is going to be very, very poor. Again, this is just a tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. When you see the universities collapsing, it is the same case with our hospitals. It is the same case with other institutions. And in fact, is it Homa Bay that I saw a woman, I was reading somewhere, a woman carrying 6 chicken in the basket, took the basket with the 6 chicken to pay school fees. What does this tell you, ladies and gentlemen? There is poverty in this country. People don't have money because of punitive taxations, because the economy is not growing. And this is Kenya Kwanza for you. So that when you hear you're greeting somebody and telling me one term, you now understand the pain that is in this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe you can come up with a way. You can suggest in the comment section how these universities can be built out. Ni vipi tunaweza kuokoa taasisi hizi zetu? Because you see, you also need to come up with a solution. But as things stand now, mambo si mazuri, si kuzuri, sio maneno yangu, ni vile hali ilivyo. We are just reporting. Have a blessed day.